Welcome to Living Well with Mary Lou Andre, a 30-minute monthly lifestyle program to help you live better on your own terms by being inspired by accomplished business leaders and nonprofit leaders that make the world a better place to live. I'm your host, Mary Lou Andre, and today I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend, Arthur Anton. Arthur's family owns Anton's Cleaners, a third-generation family-owned dry cleaning business with 35 locations throughout Greater Boston, including Needham. Founded in 1913 by Arthur's grandfather, Charles, Anton's is currently the largest clothing care company in the Northeast. Today, Arthur and his brother Charles run the family business and oversee Anton's nonprofit subsidiary, Caring Partners, Inc., which brings two prominent events to life each year, Coats for Kids and Families and Belle the Ball. Both serve thousands of people annually while promoting volunteerism. As always, I say Anton's family is in the business of caring for clothes and caring for the community. Please help me welcome Arthur Anton. Hello!
Mary Lou.
Here we are again.
I know. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be your first guest.
Yes, you are my first guest. And there is just so much to talk to you about. There always is.
Okay.
But let's start with what it was like to grow up in a family-owned business.
Well, you know, I just remember as a young kid having to work in the business during the summer. It was like, okay, there was no questions asked. My uncle would say, okay, this store, they need help over here, they need help over there, they need to wrap the pipes, they need to do something. So I was in it from the very beginning. So, you know, as a young kid, probably I was 12 years old. Oh, maybe that wasn't legal to do, but we were. But we
it was a different world back then. Arthur. You could do whatever.
But my uncle would say, you know, he'd find something for me, and I'd learn the business from the bottom up, as they say.
And share some of your early memories about your dad and two brothers in terms of, I know you and your brother Charles very well, yeah. And I always admire your commitment to giving back. Yeah. So that must have been taught.
Well, I think I learned, my grandfather, you know, started that sort of tradition and that feeling that you need to give back to your community. He was part of the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, all those organizations where he was an immigrant coming into this country, didn't speak any English, went to Ellis Island, then put a tag on saying Charles goes to Lowell, Mass, and then he didn't know anything except he was a tailor by trade.
Oh, okay.
So then he worked in the factories, and he made just pants, and then he made coats. So he really once he sort of established himself and opened the first tailoring, then dry cleaning business, he then would become part of these organizations. And I always remember him being very proud to go to these events with the Lions Club especially.
Okay. And was there any question that you weren't going to go into the family business? Like, walk us through that.
Well, when you're in college, you sort of, I see a lot of my friends who went into finance, and my brother and I had a little conversation, and I said, let's give it a shot. I get along with my brother great, Charles, yeah. And he was, he's 2 years older, but he went to law school, business school program at BU, mm-hmm. And so he started a year after I started. So I said, I'm younger, but I've been there longer than he has. But he said, like I said, it was one of these things that said, let's try it. Yeah. And working I worked really closely with my Uncle Sock. Mm-hmm. Or Socrates, and he was just a great human being. And when you work with family, it doesn't always work out, but when it works, it's just something special that you can't replace.
Yeah. So how long have you and Charles been running it together?
Well, I don't know. My uncle worked up to the very end of his life. So I think we've been doing it for 20-something years, over 30 years. I mean, I've been in it for over 40 years.
Yeah, wow. And what's your day-to-day responsibility?
I go around and I go to all the locations, mm-hmm. and I usually bring them cookies or something, and they like to see me coming. And then I usually go around and just make sure everyone's happy with what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I also check quality. I look at how cleanliness, and I point out little things when I'm in the stores that I mm-hmm. think they could improve. If there's a new finisher, mm-hmm. I may give them tips on how to press that better, or so I try not to step on the manager's toes, but I do go in there and I observe a little bit.
Yeah, because you did all their jobs at one point.
Oh, I mean, I know how to do everything. Actually, yesterday I was in the Reading store and they were shorthanded, and I had an hour before I needed to be somewhere, and I said, "Do you want to press some pants for you?" And she goes, "Really?" And she was all excited that I was going to press pants. And to me, it's just like you never forget riding a bike. Yeah. So I'm pressing pants for an hour in Reading yesterday. I did that in Needham actually in the store because they were shorthanded and we're trying to find some help. And I was in the Needham store and I was pressing all day long. And then the young man, Jose, who was the finisher there, or the inspector, said, "I didn't know you could press." I said,
Uh-oh.
"Okay." He goes, "You're really."
Now the secret's out.
He goes, "You're really good." I said, "I hope I'm really good."
Well, you always look amazing too, Arthur. So
I'm always doing that
talk
kind of
too.
stuff.
I mean, you live and wear your brand.
Oh, it's funny. I'm out and I always wear a tie every day, and I wear a sport coat. And I see more people now, and nobody's dressed up. I go to the gym and say, "Oh, you look really good." I do this every day. I dress like this every day. I'm not going to an event. I'm not going to, but it's who I am. I don't think I could not wear a tie.
Yeah, and what I love about both you and Charles, because I've gotten to know you very, very well, is the two things that I think of in terms of branding and inspiration is first, you both wear your brand very well, and I love that you always have a tie on. I feel like in today's world, it really helps you stand out in all the right ways. And I also, and we're going to segue now into what our show is, what I really brought you in to talk about, is I think the legacy that you and Charles have built is really the giving back piece with Caring Partners. So you have two community programs.
Correct.
Coats for Kids and Belle. So Coats for Kids, 30 years this year. You just wrapped up. I can't even believe it. So what was the decision to start that program 30 years ago, and what did you envision it to become?
You know, there was a program in Colorado called Coats for Colorado, and we'd been part of this roundtable group, which a bunch of dry cleaners around the country. And so we looked at that, and they were doing just a one-day event. And I thought, like, that's not what we are. We're more spread out. So we thought, like, okay, we can collect coats. People have coats. The kids go out of their coats. People don't know what to do with them. They throw them in the in a box somewhere, or they put them. So we are able to take those, and then we give them back to the community. And the first year we did it with the Bruins, we got 2,000 coats. We thought, wow, 2,000 coats, that's a lot of coats. And I think at our height, we did 50,000 coats a year. And it was crazy. And I thought, like, this will never get absorbed into our communities. Every year they get absorbed. The need has grown and grown and grown, especially with, immigrants coming into this, people from different parts of the world. They don't have any coats, and you see them at this bus stop, and they don't have coats. And so we're there to give anybody who needs a coat so they can have a coat. And it keeps growing. It's amazing. We have schools that do competition, so we get a lot of high schools and other schools that come in, and that has been a really successful program for us too.
Yeah, and I just want to share with our viewers some of these numbers because they are incredible. So 30 years ago, the Anton, Charles, and Arthur, his brother Charles, started Coats for Kids. Since its inception, they've collected 1 million coats with a dry cleaning value of $20 million. That is incredible. So that's program number one.
Yeah.
Program number two, and this one is near and dear to my heart because I was on the ground floor getting this done. And another quality that you guys have that I really admire is your partnerships. You know how to reach out to the right people at the right time. And I have always just been so honored to have gotten that phone call. Oh my goodness, it's 21 years ago now, that said, "Do you want to help us build this event?" And I said, "I'm in." And it followed the same premise. Your clients had prom dresses, so why not get those prom dresses out of the closet? And I also think that you guys do such a service for your clients because people don't know what to do with their coats. They don't know what to do with their dresses. So you've created these two magnificent programs. So tell our audience again when you jumped off the second bridge and said we're gonna not just collect dresses, but we're gonna throw an event where young women can come get the dresses and be really cared for in a pretty unique way.
Well, we started, it was at Simmons College in their gym, and they gave us we had this idea, and they gave us the gym. I thought, okay, we had to be there late, brought the dresses in, and I think there were maybe 100 people there to get dresses. And then we got some feedback. We only had dresses, and so they said, well, we really need shoes, and we need jewelry, and we need pocketbooks. So we said, okay, let's figure out how we're going to get there. So when we had our Anton's 100th anniversary, we, raised a lot of money for that event, and that money sort of started us being able to afford to buy the things that we needed to make it an event. And so we were at Sims, and it grew every year, and it grew every year, and you were there every year. And Mary Lou, you're the best, because you would suddenly be, okay, I'd be like, we can't fit this young lady to a dress, and we don't know. And you'd say, wait a second, okay, this is the style she needs. This is exactly what she's going to, and you'd find a dress that would fit her. And I'd be like, every time you would find a dress for everybody, so nobody left, without a dress. But we did have a challenge because some of the dresses that were donated weren't the very small or the very large. And so we ended up purchasing those, remember?
Yes,
we made that decision.
do.
We have to purchase
fun.
them, so we would do it off season, so we get Stephanie at our office would get a great deal, and they go shopping, and so we have all the size dresses. And so, and it's grown, and when we were at Simmons, I remember it was Elliot from Jordan's Furniture who said, we're too small. This is too small for us. We're on 2 floors. He goes, we need to move.
It was a huge decision.
So
huge decision.
and then we said, okay, where can we go? And then we ended up at the Heinz Convention Center,
which
changed the whole thing.
Event.
And so it's so much bigger space. We're able to drive the trucks in, unload all the dresses. We had over 600 volunteers, 1,800 young ladies that we invited. They're juniors and seniors, when they're in high school, and we invite all. And it was incredible. It was a little chaotic.
Yeah.
It was a little chaotic with that many people, but we are now prepared for that number this year.
And just for our audience to get how big an undertaking this is.
Yeah.
So as Arthur said, we started at Simmons College with about 100 girls.
Yeah.
And we did that for many years.
Yeah.
And it was growing and growing and growing. And Anton's also, this event, it's like, every single expense is taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
You have professional staff that runs the event. But then when Jordan's got involved, because Jordan's Furniture, they love to be involved in events like this, and we took it to the Heinz. These young ladies that come to the event, they leave with a dress, shoes, pocketbook. There's a runway. There is a red carpet runway.
That was Elliot's idea.
That was Elliot the
Elliot.
showman. And now you brought in Enterprise Bank,
Yes.
which also gave such amazing funding for this program. Plus, their employees show up the day before, which is huge, because to set up, and I always say this whenever we're chatting, and people love it. It's like at the trivia question, and the audience might be able to guess or not guess. To be able to serve 1,200 to 1,500 girls, which is our goal, we have to invite 1,800 to get it to that number. We have to have about 3,000 dresses in the room. At least, because if you think about shopping at Macy's, you've got to try on 5 or 6 dresses. Yeah. So the event now, they get all of this. They leave with goodie bags. It is just a phenomenal event. Yeah. So what is your proudest moment about these?
There's been so many moments where I'm walking around all the time, the whole day, and usually there's a mom there, and she comes over to me and she said, we've come through some tough times, and she starts to tell me that they wouldn't be able to go to their prom if they weren't here. And so she had 2 daughters there at one point. I think one was a junior, one was a senior. And so she starts to cry. So then the daughter starts crying, and I start to cry, and it was one of these things like, okay, stop.
I remember that.
Remember that? And it was just one of those moments where you just feel like it's worth all the energy we put into it, everything we do about this, because we give back to people that wouldn't be able to afford to go to their prom. The dresses are so expensive, and they're just sitting in someone's closet. And then at COVID, when there were no proms at COVID, Macy's called us up. They said, we want to give you... It
was the gift of COVID.
The gift of COVID. They gave us 3,000 brand new dresses.
Incredible. And the event, the next year when we reopened, it was like big time.
Oh, yeah.
Every year that event gets better and better. Yeah. And I know for me, which has been one of the biggest surprises since day one, is these girls want to have their Cinderella moment. Oh, yeah. They twirl, they laugh. And part of my role is to just really help the personal shoppers. At the beginning, I was the personal shopper, and I'm still there to help. Yeah. but it's giving the personal shoppers the gift of connecting with those young women in such a powerful way. And I tell them all, what you're here to do is serve and give confidence, give hugs. And in all the years I've been doing it, my goodness, you're so tired at the end of that event. You are so tired, but it's such a good tired.
It is, because you know, I think last year there were a lot of volunteers that had canceled, and so at the end of the day, we had no volunteers in shoes, and so I ended up in shoes, and then Elliot looks at me, and I'm in shoes. I'm like, I don't know how to do with shoes. How am I getting the shoes for everybody? So I was trying to figure it all out, but we made it happen. We got it done. Because you know, this year we bring buses of people from different high schools.
Talk about that a little bit.
So we started that probably.
As the board, when we were trying to figure out, this is an awesome story. The board was trying to figure out how to get more girls there, because sometimes it's tough, because these kids got to get out of bed, they got to get to the event, public transportation. So talk about the buses, because that was amazing.
So one of the schools said, well, we're going to get a bus, you know, to bring all the people there. So I said, what a great idea. So then we started paying for the buses, and we started to get. So I think we have 15 Lowell, Lawrence, Nashville. We have different parts of the state that we reach out to, and they fill a bus, and they all come together, and then they have that camaraderie together. These young girls, and they're all talking about, that's a great dress on you. It's a lot of, it gives a lot of energy to the event.
And how important is it to you to serve those communities? Because
I mean, that's our
Lowell and Lawrence.
I mean, we started in Lowell, so that's always been. I think we have 2 buses from Lowell coming this year. But I think we serve anybody who's in need, and I think there are so many people in need, and again, it's so expensive to buy a dress today. I mean, I remember when my daughter went through it, and I didn't really get it until she went through her prom.
It's a rite of passage. I mean, these kids that can't go, it really, there's a lot of stigma. I mean, it's really incredible. And just to share with our audience the numbers on Belle, I don't even have to look. We have collected, or you have collected, over 100,000 dresses in 21 years. And the dry cleaning value is over $4 million. So, I mean, just get your head around that.
I mean, you kind of don't look at it in that way, or I don't. It's more about you. It's just the event.
I know you don't, but I think
you know how I am. You know me well enough.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's not. It's all about you started something and you realize how good it is and how valuable it is to the people we're serving. And once you figure that out and say, we need to keep doing this. We need to keep going. We need to make it better. We need to improve it year after year. And I tell you, with Jordan's has been phenomenal. I see their Elliot's always on TV.
Promoting it. The name recognition alone
is amazing. And enterprises, as you said, they bring a lot of their employees who come and help out, which is great.
The other thing that's worth noting is we really treat the volunteers like clients almost. Like when they come, they get lunch, they get training, they get, again, this amazing
parking now. We have a
experience.
The parking.
Because
that was one of the things that was expensive. So one of the things we've decided is that we will pay for parking at this one parking lot.
Well, you have these sponsors that just, you say, this is a need, parking, buses, and they come in.
And they'll support that.
And the other thing for the volunteers, because we do a lot of events in Boston, obviously, the fact that you organize it so well for the volunteers, like you have time slots, training, come in for 2 hours, 4 hours, the whole day. I even have my son John there.
I know,
the Tufts football team was there.
They were great. They were great. At the end of the day, they would pick up all the heavy stuff when everyone was exhausted, and they would show up with all these big guys, and they'd take all the stuff out of here, put it back on the truck. Because we take all the stuff back that we have, there's a big news, and all the dresses we take back, we give some of them to other, communities.
Right. A lot of people ask me that. What do you do with the dresses?
Yeah, and we do. I must say, we hold on to the larger size and the very small, because we can't find them. I mean, they were looking for. Stephanie was looking the other day, and they just can't get those kind of dresses.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool, like what you had said earlier, there's somebody that has a fit issue, and I really believe that the reason why nobody leaves empty-handed is it's just such a positive energy, and the karma in that room, it just allows for really a magnificent
but your team is incredible. I'll give you all the credit, because your team, merely you bring 5 or 6 people usually, and you're professionals, so you can look at somebody and in an instant know the style of dress that's going to fit them. So a lot of times a young lady picks out a dress, and it's not the right type, it's not the right fit, and then they're not sure, well, they can't find anything, and then that's why we always go to you. It's like, where's Mary Lou? We're gonna find Mary Lou and her team, and Sarah's amazing too. And then we'd get, and you figure it out in like seconds.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
And actually, thank you so much. But I think my biggest joy from doing this for 20 years is, in the beginning, so fun. It was me, you, and June. Remember June?
Yeah, June. I love
we were
June.
in there, and then now we wrote the training manual, and it's really about we have 10 tips to a productive one-on-one engagement, and it allows us to take our craft and share it. So it's a total win-win. So let's talk about the next generation for Anton. What's going on there?
Oh, Olivia has worked in the at the event, and she's married now, living in New York City.
Yeah.
So she was working for into the fashion world. Worked for Ted Baker for a while, and my son just he's a lawyer. He just passed the bar in New York, and he's working for a nonprofit. So so the next generation, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll see it.
I'm not ready to go anywhere.
Not
yet.
No,
Not yet.
And I even know with my next generation, even having my son John be able to be involved in that event was huge for me, because we were sitting around I'm on Arthur's caring partner board, and saying, we always had the buses, the getting the shoes, whatever it was. But one of the things was, we just need some muscle in the room, and I was like, I can do that. I have some muscle available to me.
We have a great board that just has good ideas, and Heather, from Jordan, she's always got great ideas.
Yeah, Heather's amazing.
Amazing. She's always,
Everybody's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone in that room, and they give ideas, and we learn from each other and say, okay, what can we do? It's always about improving.
Yeah.
So, we knew some things we didn't do as well as one year, and we get a little bit better at it, and how we organize the room, where what's the flow of the room, what's the best way, and then when we got the red carpet and that was Ellen's idea. It was like, well, we want it elevated, we want this. And I was like, okay, and then everyone got the pictures taken.
The pictures were amazing.
And
the balloons and the music. And then even one year, there was 2 years we had makeup, and then we were all like, you know what, that is taking away from the event.
Yeah, it took too long.
It took too long, it was distracting, and we got rid of it, and it was like a big decision at the time, and it just all fell into place.
Right, so we've learned. We've learned what you can do, what you can't do. And you try to get someone into a dress within half an hour, but it's always an hour or so before they find the right dress. But when they get the right dress, as you know, they won't take it off.
Right.
They walk around the room for the next half hour until the bus is ready to go, which is pretty. I'm like, oh wow, they just really like that dress.
And the event has evolved through. It's just interesting too. When we first started, there really wasn't any cell phones.
All right.
And now there's cell phones. And in the beginning, the boyfriends could kind of sit on the side. Now we try to keep the boyfriends removed. And what has really evolved is an incredible event for these young women to celebrate their rite of passage with friends, with other young women their same age. And no matter who's in the room, we're all women. Like, we all know what it feels like. It's really the power of being appropriately dressed and going someplace where you fit in, you feel amazing. So I think what you have done is incredible. Biggest learning for you as you went into the nonprofit side of your business?
You learn that if it's a good mission, it's something that you really believe in, then it's easy to do, and you figure out how to make it work. And so when you get suddenly, Jordan's drops off 300 coats and that's up to here, and you can't move in that store, you figure out how to make it work. And then when all the dresses come in and we're trying to I go through them all. I'm always going through and, okay, yes, no, yes. And I used to ask you, I used to take pictures and send them to you, remember? I'd say, Mary Lou, is this style, is the short ones in, are they not in this year? Mary Lou, and this color's really, you would give me the hints. These colors are in. If you have any of those colors, make sure you bring those. Remember that?
Yeah, of course I remember all of it. I remember the fashion shows that we did.
And I would say, Mary Lou, which I wear, which Tommy works on.
We always coordinate our.
We're pretty good today too, as always.
Which I love. So as we're wrapping up here today, I'm just going to ask you to bring the whole 30 minutes back. What does living well mean to you?
Living well, it's you. You are living well. It's all about you, Mary Lou. And you are just amazing as a human being, and I've gotten to know you and to love you. And I tell you, it really does mean a lot that you invite me to be your first guest here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you. And I just, I think everybody can tell we have a love fest going on here. But as a business owner myself, to be able to partner with another small business in this way and have it be part of my legacy, really. There's been many years where every time March hits, it's like, when is Belle the Ball happening? So it's become a huge part of our brand. And I even loved, in the middle of the pandemic, we didn't have Belle the Ball, but we got together and did a program for our audience just because I didn't want to not see you in the month of March. So we did a Zoom and we broadcasted that. But thank you for trusting me to be part of this amazing organization and the board work that I do with you. Again, when I ask you, like, how has that evolved you, I just know that giving back with like-minded people is never a bad idea. And when, in the days that we're living in now, I think it's even more important. And we have March 22nd on our calendar. We'll be there. And anyone out there that would like to donate, go to Anton's. You can click on Caring Partners, Inc. I think volunteer registration might be still open.
Yeah, it is, and we always
need
a few more volunteers.
Yeah, and is the dress collection still open?
It's still open until the 16th.
Okay, so those of you watching from Needham, there is an Anton's right downtown Needham Center. They will take your dresses and they will turn it into somebody's dream moment. Arthur, thank you.
Thanks, Mary Lou.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next month with another inspiring guest.